Okay. Hey, everybody. It's Patty. Welcome to Dinner's Gonna Be a Little Late tonight. Wait, John, where are you?
I'm right here.
Live and in person.
We are here together. Welcome.
That was like
so before you freak out, we have been in each other's bubble this whole time. We spent a bunch of time together, so we're in close proximity, but we're okay.
Yes.
And I promise you, I'm going to run to have a test as soon as I leave her, because God knows where she's been.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
But hey, we're here and we're making pozole.
Posole.
Posole, which is spelled two ways, with an S or a Z. Both are correct. I spelled it with an S because that's the way I was taught. But it's a really delicious Mexican stew that is very traditional to eat at certain holidays, but also very traditional on Sundays for Sunday dinner. So we're going to make pozole. And guess what? It's from my new cookbook.
You don't happen to have your cookbook here, John,
I happen to have that. Look.
This is so exciting.
It's a cookbook I wrote.
Oh my gosh.
And Patty, you're in it.
I heard I'm the last word in your cookbook.
Look, you are the very last word, which is always the case.
That is so perfect.
It is actually, she is literally the last word in the cookbook and
in life.
Yeah. But yeah, so I wrote a cookbook and it's for pre-sale right now at Amazon. And I would love it if you would go and put it on pre-sale and buy it, because there's 100 great recipes in here. And even though it says cookbook for men, of course, it's not just for men, it's for women too. The publisher was excited about the men thing because I think men are underrepresented in cookbooks and they're kind of intimidated in the kitchen. So this is a great gift for your husband or boyfriend or son at college, or a single guy who is intimidated to cook, because it's all in one pan and every dish in here is like 30 minutes or less. So it's 100 recipes all the way from appetizers all the way through dessert. So now we can encourage people to cook more often, and women as well, women who maybe aren't as comfortable in the kitchen. These are really, really easy recipes. Some of them are from my family. Some of them are from you. Some of them are borrowed from other friends, and I made a lot of them up.
Which
so
is
yeah, and so today we're gonna make one of the recipes.
We are, and a couple things about it. I helped John edit it because I'm the grammarian. Did a really good job. I didn't have to change too much. But I tell you, this is like, like watching the cooking show, maybe like this, and makes you hungry. Going through these recipes was like, oh my God, I want to make this. Oh my God, I want to make this. One thing I keep thinking about is, and doesn't go with our theme at all, is the French toast. The French toast just sounds like crack.
We can make it.
Oh gosh, can we do dinner for?
We can do breakfast for dinner.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
Yes.
So
as long as there's bacon involved.
Of course, of course. And my thing about this cookbook is I immediately thought, what a great gift for someone going off to college, their first apartment, a shower gift, a wedding gift for a young couple. It's perfect.
And it all happens in one pan. See,
yes.
One pan.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make a lot of mess. It's super easy. So anyway, enough on that. But we're making a recipe from this book today. And if you want to order it, go to Amazon.com and just look up One Pan Cookbook for Men, or my name, John Bailey, and you'll find it in the search engine and you can pre-order it.
Cool.
So,
all right,
let's get to it. Pozole.
Pozole.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about pozole, or do you want to start?
Do we want to tell them right now? Okay. Well, I love my research, so I did some research. I'm like, what's the history of pozole, right? So as John said, it's a traditional Mexican dish, and it actually goes back to the Aztecs. Are you ready? Okay, this is real. John said that's not real. I said it's real. It was in every reference I read. So the first thing is the main ingredient in pozole is hominy, which is corn. And the Aztecs believed that humans were made by the corn gods. So corn was considered a sacred plant. So that's that. But that's not the good part. I put my notes over here, but I have a quick look over there. So I'm going to do it here instead. Okay, so the Aztecs and other Mesoamerica peoples cook pozole only on special occasions. But are you ready? We're making ours today with pork. But originally, Pozole was made from the human meat of prisoners whose hearts had been ripped out in a ritual sacrifice.
That's horrible.
But true.
Well, what a way to start a cooking show segment.
I know.
Okay,
I was like,
we are not
put up a
cannibals. We are making it with pork.
We are.
It will be quite tasty, I promise.
It will.
That is
I made
so
the pork.
gross.
I know. So the good news is after the Spanish conquest in the 1500s, cannibalism was banned and the human flesh was replaced with pork.
Go figure.
I know. So yes, making it with pork, and we're actually making it with some carnitas that I made this morning. They cooked in my crock pot for 6 hours. And when John got here today, the first thing he said was, "Oh my God, it smells so good." I'm like, yeah, I know. It's torture living in your house all day with this incredible yumminess smell that you know you can't enjoy
I'm
yet.
making it as soon as I get home.
So easy. But we're going to talk about that later. All right. So John's going to, we get to do it in real time together. John's going to walk me through how to make his pozole.
Okay, so one of the things about this recipe is that it's very easy, but hominy is one of those things that's necessary for this recipe to be authentic, and hominy is not easily accessible, is it?
No, I could not find it at my Palm Desert Albertsons.
So you might have to go to a specialty store to find it. I live in San Diego and it's in every store. We have a large Mexican population and you can find it anywhere. Hominy looks like this. So it's just a corn kernels that have been treated a certain way and they puff up and they are larger than life. So we're going to be cooking with that. And of course we start with olive oil. So Patty's putting olive oil in and we're gonna we have onion and garlic and we're going to mix those together in the bowl.
Now?
Sure,
Okay.
Let's put those in.
All right. My pan's just heating up.
And because it's a spicy Mexican stew, it also contains chili powder and cumin. So the same ingredients that would go into chili, but this is more of a stew and it's a little bit more soupy than chili. Chili is usually very, very thick, and pozole is more of brothy. And it's actually made with chicken broth. So we're putting in the onion and the garlic. So it's a whole onion and then 3 cloves of garlic because it's really garlicky-licious. And you can put in the chili powder,
All right.
which is 2 tablespoons of chili powder and a teaspoon of ground cumin.
2 of my favorite spices.
Yep.
I love cumin.
That's what's going to make it so delicious. And also a half a teaspoon of red pepper flakes.
You only did half, right?
I only did a half. Patty's husband doesn't like things super spicy. This is where you can make it either spicier or less spicy. So a half a teaspoon gives it a little kick, but isn't too bad. If you want it to be more spicy, just add a little more. And if you're really not into the spice, you add a little less. Scott's gonna have to deal with a half a teaspoon.
I think we'll be okay. I blamed it on Scott, but I'm not a real spicy person either. Well,
So
I am a spicy person.
that should start to all combine into this kind of almost like a paste,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm. Should we show?
Well, you need to put the flour in now.
Oh, okay.
And we put flour in just to make it thicker. So this makes it's a thickening agent, really. And when we put the flour in with these other ingredients, it sort of coats them and it forms this paste as the onions cook and the garlic sort of cooks down. It turns into this kind of really delicious buttery paste. How's it going?
How's it tell me?
Oh, it looks good.
All right. Can we show?
Okay,
Should we show and tell?
Sure, you wanna see it? You wanna see it at home?
Let's see if you can see it without me dumping it on John's computer. I don't know how well it's translating, but
It's pretty colorful.
it smells delicious.
Yeah,
Mm.
really good stuff.
Mm.
Okay, so
So
I think that's going well, right?
Mhm.
And now we can add some of the,
Making a mess.
oh, you are?
Yeah.
Add the broth.
Okay.
So
Where's my-
we're gonna put in 4 cups of chicken broth.
okay.
And again, this is a place where you can modify the recipe. If you want the dish to be thicker and heartier, put less broth. And if you want it to be soupier, then put a little bit more. But the recipe calls for 4 cups of chicken broth. Ooh, it smells really good. It smells really good. And I'm hungry, can you tell? And
I fed you lunch. I fed you when you got here.
I know, but I didn't eat as much as I wanted to because I'm going to eat some of that.
I know, it wasn't that much. Okay.
Okay, so she's put the broth in, and we're going to just let that cook and combine for a few minutes. So what have you got the heat on? Medium high?
Yeah. You want a little hotter?
Yeah, I'm going to turn it up just a little bit so it's on a 7.
Okay.
Okay, so that's going to all combine, and we're just going to let that come to a soft boil before we start going with the next set of ingredients.
Okay, cool. All right, so we talked about what pozole is. We've learned a lot about that. It's
always, well, you can have it chicken or pork. And it's funny because when I was buying the hominy, oh, and I have to show you that. I have to show you the hominy.
Oh, yeah.
When I was buying the hominy, the checker said, oh, we just made pozole this weekend. Are you making chicken or pork? And that's sort of the way it is. It's like, oh, is it chicken or is it pork? Same recipe exactly. You could make this with chicken instead of pork if you're not into pork, but definitely not human meat. Okay, so
if that's
Patty,
1500.
Patty could not find hominy, and I had to go buy it. And I'm like, oh, no problem. It has in every store. I'll go to the Vons on the way out to see you. And so I go to the Vons, and this is the only size hominy that they have at the Vons. Okay, look how huge this is. It's the size of my head.
It is the size of your head. You have a big head. Just literally, not figuratively.
It is 6 pounds and 14 ounces.
That's almost 7 pounds of hominy.
But I'm going to tell you what. Do you know how much this was?
How much?
$4.49. So this can be a very affordable and cost-effective recipe. And if you buy a can that's 4 pounds or 6 pounds and 14 ounces, you can make a lot of pozole. So if you were feeding hordes and dozens and your entire family was coming over for dinner, you could feed all 117 of them.
And if you're in the neighborhood and you'd like some, come on over.
Yeah, anybody need some?
Yeah, come on over. I'm in the Coachella Valley today. Just you can take it to your next meeting.
Because the recipe calls for a 15-ounce can, which is like almost 2 cups. And this is like, I mean, like probably 10 times that.
Yeah.
So,
you can do the math.
Yeah, I can't do the math.
I know, I can't either. Sounds good.
But you're a good speller.
I'm an excellent speller.
The best.
I'm even better at it.
Okay, so how's this cooking up?
How we do it? It's not boiling yet.
No, why isn't it?
I don't know, let's turn it up.
What's wrong with your stove?
It's cheap.
Do you have any other special things to tell us while that's cooking?
Well, sure. Let's see, I have 2 things. I can talk about the carnitas or I can do our wine pairing. If we do our wine pairing, then we can have a glass of wine. So let's talk about the wine.
Okay.
So Sydney, of course, gave us our recommendation. Let's grab it. Well, I have something to show you. It has nothing to do with the show, but I just got this really cute dish towel and it says, people I want to meet, #1, dogs, because I love dogs. So I'm now having a little dish towel collection.
In addition to your napkin collection?
Yes, my cocktail napkin collection. I decided I'm going to do like cocktail napkins on our Facebook posts. Okay, so Sydney, as we've learned, if you tune into the show, what grows together goes together. So Sydney suggested wine from Mexico. And where's my wine? Okay, so this is kind of funny. It kind of ties in with the pork. This is Santos Brujos from the Guadalupe Valley in Mexico. Santos Brujos means holy witches. I felt like that kind of tied in with the human flesh thing. So this is a Tempranillo from Mexico.
From Valle de Guadalupe?
Well, this one is actually, yes, it's from the Guadalupe Valley.
So in Spanish,
oh, see, Valle de Guadalupe. Okay, got it. Okay. I didn't hear what you said. Okay, so I was like, what? So anyway, so this is really cool. So one thing I've learned through my Sydney daughter is about biodynamic farming. And we've had the opportunity to go to this amazing winery. It's called Literai. And the winemaker and the owner was like the pioneer in California of biodynamic farming. And what that means kind of in a nutshell is that everything that the farm needs to sustain itself is grown or raised or lives on the farm. So when we did this tour in Sonoma County, they have cows and they have sheep and they have sunflowers and everything, and herbs, and everything they grow goes back into the ground to create the wine. So there aren't no fertilizers or chemicals are used in the production. So this is the only certified biodynamic vineyard in the Valle de Guadalupe. And it's a Tempranillo.
What does Santos Brujos mean?
It means holy witches.
That's what you were saying there.
That's what I was saying. Holy witches.
Holy witches.
Holy witches. Maybe they were the cannibals. Who knows? So this wine is going to have scents of raspberry and tobacco. And Mexico, here's a fun fact, John. Did you know this? Mexico is the America's oldest wine producing country. It began to produce wine just over a year after the arrival of the Spanish in 1520. So I am team Spain. They got rid of the cannibals and they brought the wine.
So I did know that only because I visited the
you've
wine
been there,
valleys in Mexico, and they are proud to tell you that the vines were brought over from Spain.
Yeah, isn't that cool? So, and the Guadalupe Valley, Valle de Guadalupe is kind of going through a renaissance, a resurgence, and people are really into going down to the Baja California and tasting the wine. And now they're making a lot of the same varietals that are popular in California. So Tempranillo, it's Spain's most widely planted grape. It is notoriously food friendly. And here's a good one. Well, let's tie this into our chocolate mousse episode. It plays an important role in port. So let's test it out. We'll have a sip now. Now, full disclosure, we may not love it yet because sometimes wine tastes better with food. But let's compare.
I like the way that. I like that.
You like that thing? When we toast, not cheers, toast. Cheers is what you say when you toast.
I say salud.
Even better. Salud, amor, y tiempo para ayudar. So something. I have it on a plate over there. It was my parents. Smells great.
I like it. This is ready.
Okay.
I don't mean to rush you. Do you want me to go and you can keep talking about wine?
I'm done. That was my wine. That was Wednesday Wine Facts with Wary from
It's very nice.
It is.
So I like it without food, and I probably like it even more with food.
I do like it without food. Okay,
okay. So now this is cooked and ready.
Okay.
And so we're gonna add the stewed tomatoes.
All right.
And Patty was hilarious when I told her that the recipe calls for a can of stewed tomatoes, and she's like, "That's grandma food. Like who eats stewed tomatoes, right?"
My grandmother.
And here's the thing. You can easily substitute the stewed tomatoes with solid packed tomatoes that you would buy, that are readily available. In fact, when I bought the stewed tomatoes, there's like this much of the shelf in the canned tomato section is dedicated to stewed tomatoes, and this much is dedicated to like all the other kinds of tomatoes.
Yeah, I had the same thing. It was like really hard to find stewed tomatoes.
And if you were making this traditionally in a Mexican household, all of these things would be made from scratch, and we would not be taking all the shortcuts that we're taking, like canned things and all that other stuff. But remember, 30 minutes or less, one pot. We're just trying to make it easy on you guys. So stewed tomatoes it is.
They're in.
Okay, and now we can put in the green chilies.
All right. So
this is a can of green chilies. And again, Patty bought the mild kind of already chopped up, and it comes in a little can.
Yep.
You can buy the spicy kind. There's mild, medium, and hot, I guess. And medium is hot, by the way. So if you buy hot, expect it to be burning. But I usually make it with the mild too, and adjust the pepper in another way. Because if you cook with spicy chilies, there's no way to take the spice out. And there's, when you're adding spice at the end to a bowl of pozole, the way that you like it, then you have a little bit more control over it, and everybody gets what they want. So we put mild chilies. And now we are ready for the famous hominy. Hominy.
So during my hominy research, I found, because I was like, what the heck is hominy? And it's, as John said, it's corn that's gone through a process. The process used to be they soaked it in lye and then rinsed off the lye. But fortunately, they don't do that anymore.
Isn't that poisonous?
Yes. I mean, can you believe this? We've got holy witches, we've got cannibalism, we got lye corn.
Isn't lye what they used to use to clean clothes with and fabric?
Yeah, and maybe prepare bodies. I don't know. But they don't do it with lye anymore. Now one recipe I said you can do your own hominy, and they use lime. Maybe it was a typo. I don't know.
Instead of lye.
Lye.
So can you see this kernel of hominy? It's quite large and puffy, and it's kind of like split, so it's very soft. But here's a hint: it really tastes crappy if you just eat it by itself. It's super plain and kind of pasty. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend having any hominy just on its own. But you know, hominy is something that's very common in the South.
Grits.
And grits. Well, grits is hominy that's been ground. Yeah. So hominy is definitely a part of many people's diet, and this dish is one of them.
I'm excited. I've never had hominy.
You haven't?
No.
Well, it's like, and here's the other thing about that. You can substitute it for corn, just regular corn, if you can't find hominy. And that's the beauty of this recipe. There's a lot of ways to substitute it and, you know, make it work for you. So hominy may be one of those things that's just a little outside your comfort zone, or you can't find it. Canned corn is fine. Get the white corn, not the yellow corn, just because it'll look a little bit more traditional, like the actual dish. But if you can find hominy, it's just way better.
Way better. I'm excited.
Okay, so we're just going to wait for this to come back up. And again, super easy, super quick. Look, we're only in the show like 20 minutes, and it's almost done.
Cool.
So that's how quick it is once you've got all this stuff pulled together. Now, Patty made her carnitas herself, and we're going to cover off on that recipe on the blog. We're not going to talk about it too much today, or are we?
I'll just real quick.
Why don't you? Why don't you while this is coming?
All right. So when John said, let's make this recipe, and he said it needed shredded pork. I'm like, I've got the perfect recipe. This carnitas recipe is super easy. It's literally 3 main ingredients: pork, like a big pork roast, like a Boston butt. I love that. I need a Boston butt. I need a boneless Boston butt. So it's like a pork shoulder, and onion and garlic. And then there's 4 spices: salt and pepper, cumin, and oregano. Really? I hope you're right, Mikiki. I really hope you're right.
I do too.
Oh my God, please don't.
I haven't been paying attention to the news.
Don't scare us. Don't tease us. I just like broke out in sweat. Anyway, what was I saying? Pepper and oregano and cumin, my favorite spice. And then you cut up the meat, you stick it in the crock pot, you toss it with the herbs or the spices, you cut up the onion and some garlic, you throw it on top, you put it in the crock pot for 6 hours, comes out delicious. But I want to show you the most fun thing, not funnest. The most fun thing is a little tool that I have that I love. I've already prepared the pork that we're going to throw in.
You can't see it on the screen now.
I know, I'll figure it out.
Okay,
because
honestly, this little tool that she has is the best thing ever.
Okay, I'll just show them my Black Panther claws. Have you seen these before, people? I'm sure they come in different companies. This is called Zenware, and I got these on Amazon, which is, oh my gosh. Mikiki, you're thank you. Us. You're killing. Just please tell us you're telling us the truth. Please don't be lying. Because I'm going to drink this whole bottle of wine. Either way, actually. Anyway, so these are like Black Panther claws, or what is the other? Wolverine. But what you do is after I take my carnitas out of the crock pot, and I just, you're here. Hold this. Can you hold it?
Yes.
Let's see if we can do it. It's really easy. And you just take these and you just shred it. And they just shred so.
Look at it's coming right apart.
Come right apart so easily. Just like insane. And you can use them for chicken.
Hey, so when you cooked your carnitas, did you make it from a whole roast, or did you cube it, or?
Yeah, I cut it into chunks. I cut it into like chunks about that, like 2-inch squares. Yeah, and I actually cut I cut the pork all up last night and had everything ready to go because I got up at 6 o'clock this morning and threw it in the crock pot, so it'd be ready.
So if you were a little Mexican abuelita,
see,
you would be letting this cook for much, much longer. We're taking lots of shortcuts. You would have put fresh tomatoes, and you would have made them yourself from scratch. And the chiles would have been the original full chiles. So you would have roasted and then cut into pieces. And when you order it that way at a restaurant, it is the most incredible dish ever. And so shortcuts here, but it's still really tasty. I think I like it.
Yeah. So this is the shredded. Are you ready for the pork?
Yeah, we are.
That's the already shredded. That's
Okay.
what you want to put in there.
Okay, so we've got 2 cups of pork. Now we're going to put it into the, which is now kind of boiling liquid with all these delicious things. And you guys, guess what? That's it. That is it. It's done. We just have to wait for all of it to combine and for the pork to soak up some of those delicious flavors. And then we get to eat it.
Dang, this wine is really good.
Yeah, I know it is good.
This is good. Thanks, Sid.
Part of the fun of pozole is, of course, the flavors of the stew itself, but what you put on top is equally important. And lots of families have their own traditions of what they like to put on top. And so we've prepared some things today that we like to put on top of our pozole. And it just makes it traditional. And so I'm going to show you a couple of those while this is finished up, and then we'll plate it up for you.
Cool. And Makiki, I hope I'm saying that right. It's a Tempranillo that we're drinking. My daughter, the Somalia. So this is the wine we're drinking that I could find. Sydney gave me some great recommendations for wines that I couldn't find at Total Wine. But the Tempranillo is a great pairing. And she said any Tempranillo from Spain if you can't find one from Mexico. So, all right.
Okay, so toppings for pozole, and traditionally cabbage, which I shredded. So shredded cabbage and beautiful sliced radishes. So I got red radishes and sliced them up thin. And what else do we have?
Do any of you wear glasses? Do you steam up your glasses all the time with the mask and the?
Yeah, the mask is.
Oh my gosh.
Cilantro, chopped cilantro, and I cubed up some fresh avocado. And the last thing is, there's 2 more things.
Yes.
Some limes, because it really tastes good when you put the limes. And by the way, limes cut heat. So does sour cream.
Mm-hmm. I need
and sour cream is the other. So these 2 things, if it's spicy, you put more of these things and then it calms down.
Cool.
So I think we're ready.
That's amazing.
I know, it came together quick, didn't it?
It did.
Do you have a soup later?
I do. I forgot to get our.
And so again, we're like taking shortcuts for the show, and you can make this can simmer all day long. You could put a top on this and just let it simmer for a long time, and that is the traditional way. In the abuelita's kitchen, the cocina de abuelita, they would have that cooking for a very, very long time. And we're obviously taking shortcuts, not only for the show, but really just that's how quick this recipe comes together. You can make this when you get home from work at night, boom, 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 and it's done, and your family is fed.
You know, it'd be awesome is you put the carnitas in the crock pot before you leave, because you don't want to be home and smell them all day, because you want to eat. If you do that, you want to eat dinner at like 3. But then when you come home, your house smells amazing from the carnitas, and then you just do this, and bam.
Ooh, look at that. Can you smell that?
Yes.
Smell it.
Oh, I can smell the chili powder. It smells good.
So I don't know if you can you smell it?
Can you smell it?
Can you see the steam rising? Anyway, so now I'm going to put some toppings on it. I'm going to put some cabbage, and I'm going to put some cilantro.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to try and make it look pretty. And
make it look pretty. We got to take pictures.
And I'm going to, because this recipe will be on the Two Dads with Baggage blog just a little bit later today.
And the carnitas will be probably tomorrow, because we need to take some more pictures. We'll watch for that. We'll add that to the blog too. And the carnitas is great because you can use that for carnitas bowls. We do it with like black beans and rice and avocado and lime, a lot of the same toppings. Or you can also make little tacos with the carnitas. Super, and great leftovers, right? Great leftovers with the pozole, great leftovers with the meat.
Okay, so I don't know if you can really see this without me spilling it. And I'm just going to squeeze some lime on top because it makes it Yeah, can you tilt it?
Yeah, see what we could do if we were together all the time.
Oh, look, you can be my camera jockey. Look at how good that looks.
It's beautiful.
Okay, and so that took, I mean, literally less than a half an hour. And it's done.
That's true. It's 1:30 right now. Well, it's 1:30 on your computer. It's 1:29 at my stove.
And so that was how easy this comes together. And that's pretty much all the recipes that are in my cookbook. They're all fast like that, all in one pot. So this recipe is in this book. And, you know, if you want to order the book, I would be eternally grateful. And it's now available for pre-order on Amazon. And just look for One Pan Cookbook for Men and women. It's for women too.
It's not discriminating.
Yeah. Well, no. I mean, I think the publisher just wanted me to say it. So, but
hey, you got a cookbook, John. It's
I wrote a cookbook.
I know, it's cool. And seriously, you guys, there's so many good sounding recipes. And like I since I had all those recipes on my computer, I'd be like, what do I want to cook this week? I'm like, I'm gonna go try one of those John recipes. Because they're great flavors and easy and just lots of different. I feel really short.
You are really short.
I am really short. I just actually stand next to you.
And we've been talking about what if we wrote a cookbook of Dinner's Gonna Be a Little Late Tonight. So that might be the second book that comes out, which is some of the recipes that we've been sharing on the show. And I realized that this dish does not necessarily have any alcohol in it, but for some reason, many of our recipes do seem to have some alcohol in them. And
yes,
that is the theme behind Dinner's Gonna Be a Little Late Tonight. So if we're not cooking with it, we're also just drinking it. So that's why we do the wine pairing.
Yes, I highly recommend this wine pairing. I do not usually drink, even my friends are going, yes, you do. I don't usually drink red wine in the middle of the day. And I have to say, this is like candy. I can tell why it's important, because it's got that same.
And this is Vita Guadalupe. And that's why like everyone's going crazy about Vita Guadalupe and the wines that come from there. And I can't wait to take you there as soon as these restrictions are lifted.
Yes.
Because it's only like we live in San Diego, as I said, and it's like an hour and a half drive from our house. And it's like Napa Valley used to be.
Oh,
and so it's like back in the day. So it's all these sweet little mom and pop wineries. And they're not big, like no big warehouses. They're not producing cases and cases and cases. They're doing it in very sweet little batches. And that usually when you drive up, there might be 4 or 5 other cars there. And they're just like, the winemaker is there and serving the wine.
I love that.
And you're like, oh, I'll have one of those and one of those and one of those. And unfortunately at the border, they limit the number of bottles you can bring back over the border, but you can ship from there.
Well, there was one funny thing about this. When I was looking at the bottle last night, it said it's produced and bottled by Viñas del Sol in Ensenada. Yeah. Boy, that brought back some memories for me. I don't know about you, John. But
well, Vita Guadalupe and Ensenada are right there. So you drive to Ensenada and then you turn left and go into the Valle.
Yeah.
And it's like 10 minutes from Ensenada.
Well, I've driven to Ensenada. I almost didn't get back across the border, but that was in college. We won't talk. That's a story for another day.
Another day.
So what are we making next week?
What are we making next week?
Beef stroganoff.
Oh, that's right.
You got some wine in that, don't you?
There is a little
red wine.
A little red wine in that. Yeah. So also from my cookbook, we're going to make beef stroganoff, which my family loves and they beg for. And again, it's one of those dishes that my mom taught me years and years and years ago. And it's kind of like, again, that's an old-fashioned dish that's making its way back. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure Patty will do lots of research and find out exactly what the stroganoff means.
It will. My mom used to make beef stroganoff, and I'm so excited to have yours because, honest to God, my mother's was disgusting.
Really? Your mom was a great cook.
Yeah, but she wasn't good with cuts of meat like that. See, like the carnitas, you have to cook it for a long time, right? And so yeah, it was like Swiss steak. I just hated Swiss steak. Ugh. So next week, beef stroganoff. And then I just want to put a plug for Thanksgiving weekend. We're not going to have a show the day before Thanksgiving. Instead, hold on. We are doing something I'm so excited about. My mother made terrible beef stroganoff, but she made the best turkey soup in the world. This turkey soup is so good. I've actually had it like guests over, please come have my turkey soup. So we'll talk about it in the next week or two. We're going to give you the ingredients in advance. We're going to have our first live cook-along for Mama's turkey soup on the Saturday after Thanksgiving. So we'll do it in the afternoon, probably the same time. And if you want to jump on and make it with your leftovers live along with us, it's that easy. It's like this. And then you'll have dinner ready. And of course, if you don't want to, you'll have the recipe for later. But we're going to do live cook along.
Yeah, and I love that. So we're going to supply you with all the ingredients, like Patty said, in advance, so you can have them all ready, and then we can do a cook along, which will be fun.
And if you're cooking Thanksgiving dinner, you'll already have all the ingredients. So we'll just tell you in advance so you know what to buy a little more of.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You'll have everything?
Well, yeah, like they'll have turkey.
Is there stuffing in it?
No, there's no stuffing in it.
Oh, good, because we never have that left over.
No,
We always I'll
yeah.
eat that with the spoon out of the thing. I'll eat that before I'll eat pie.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, stuffing's the best thing.
Well, thanks for coming, you guys. Thanks for joining us in our special edition where we actually get to be live together. And I hope you'll tune in next week for our next program where on Wednesday at 1 p.m. PST, where we're going to make beef stroganoff.
Yes. And remember, you can watch the show later. You can tell your friends to watch the show later on Two Dads with Baggage or on YouTube. And the recipes will be up on the Two Dads with Baggage blog. So we'll see you next time.
Thanks, everybody. See you soon.
Thanks for tuning in.
Bye. I guess I have to press one more button. Okay, really.